It takes everyone behind the scenes to get this thing done. This team respects that. They see that this company wants to go places. And it's not that I want to shoot to the moon, but I want to do it organically. I'm not saying, hey, I want to open up a division here in Ohio, in Pittsburgh. I want to open it up in Buffalo. I don't want to do any of that stuff, at least not quite right now, because we have to build this out correctly. And each person that's on this team has the same kind of goal that I have. Take care of your customers and watch this thing grow.
Welcome to RCS Radio, brought to you by RCS Columbus. I'm Michael Morris. This is Ben Kitchen. Ben, what's going on?
How's it going today?
I'm super excited today because I want to talk about you and I, whether it's on the show or when we're just hanging out, are always talking about your team. And normally I go, yeah, man, I know. I get it. No, I'm just kidding. I want to know how you've built a team, especially in the Columbus area in Cleveland, how you've built this team that all seems to have one like mind about it. Because I think there's a lot of people, there's two reasons. One, we've talked about you changed careers to start this.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of entrepreneurial people. I think 2024 is going to be a really rough year. And I think a lot of people are going to get an opportunity to start something that they've held back because they had a 9-to-5.
Yep.
If they could learn something from you that they could take and say, God, that guy's got it. That's how I would build my team. Or maybe I never thought of it. That's one way. But also for your guys that are going to watch this, because we're going to force them to watch this. But when they see it, I think they should understand more about how you really think about them as people and how you've kind of molded those people together. Because you have 25 people, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So out of 25 people, you can't have one bad apple in the bunch, right?
Absolutely not.
So in a construction or roofing business, how do you find the right people to do that?
Qualify them, ask them questions about what they like about where they're at now and what they don't. And really just trying to understand, why don't you like that? And really dig in deep about, their situation. They're not making enough money. They don't have enough freedom. And really just getting all those bad apples and spinning it into a way that, sometimes you should look at other options. The grass is greener on the other side. You just don't know. But your boss is going to tell you, good luck, sir. Good luck, ma'am. Because this is where it's at. But really, have you done any research? That entrepreneur mindset, the people that are in sales have an entrepreneur mindset. And they want value. They want to be heard. They're not like the rest of the divisions in a business. You have to understand sales to understand how to build a team. I've been doing sales since I was selling Cutco at 16 years old. Shout out to Cutco. You guys still make the best knives out there. But anyways, you got to know your stuff. So I am a sales-minded individual who built a sales team. How did I do that? By asking salespeople if they like the position they're at. Are they making enough money? They want to work, and they want to work really hard, but they have to respect who they're working for. How do you respect someone that you're working for who doesn't understand exactly what it is that you need? So think about when you're asking these people, listen to them and hear them out. Every salesperson's a little bit different on their needs and their wants and their situation. They might be a single mom or dad that has a kid every other week, and that can be hard on them. So it's hard to have a 9-to-5 that you got to be mandatory there. In the contractor lifestyle, you're not always there. You're not always in the field. You might be doing office work a lot of the time. You can do it anywhere you want. When you're in the field, you set it up accordingly, and you be very organized with your time. There's a whole team behind them to support them. So when I'm asking these people what it is that they like, what they want, what they don't like with it, I'll see if I have an opportunity with them, because it goes both ways. It's got to mesh. It's a collaboration. I look at each individual salesperson has a partnership with me. So you asked me in a previous episode, you're like, why is it that they respect you? Well, because they can go anywhere they want to go. They can work for so many different people or work for themselves or whatever with it. So you got to treat them like an equal,
right?
As they should, because they're a human being.
But is that from day one?
From day one,
they've started, and that's how you're going to treat them.
They're a human being. Why would I think I'm better than anybody else? Honestly, that's just because I may have started this business and have grown it up, and it's doing very well. That's part of them too. They've brought this together as a team, and that we built. This isn't just me. There's nothing. I'm just maybe the face of the business with it, but it takes everyone behind the scenes to get this thing done. This team respects that. They see that this company wants to go places. And it's not that I want to shoot to the moon, but I want to do it organically. I'm not saying, hey, I want to open up a division here in Ohio, in Pittsburgh. I want to open it up in Buffalo. I don't want to do any of that stuff. At least not quite right now, because we have to build this out correctly. And each person that's on this team has the same kind of goal that I have. Take care of your customers and watch this thing grow. When I ask these sales guys what it is that they want, a lot of them, it's not even about money. It's more about respect. And they tell me about their sales manager that they work for right now, who is on the golf course, not training them, not helping them grow. And
shout out to those guys, by the way. You're doing really well.
Thank you so much for that. You guys have been doing great. Especially like people that work in the dealerships, where I've been finding a lot of sales guys. They're just, at least last year, they can't get cars on the lot. And they're used to making $130,000, $150,000 a year, and they're not in the six digits anymore. So they're looking for other opportunities. So I happen to be lucky enough to find a couple individuals just from this past year, and they had the same thing. They want to make money, they're ambitious, but they just don't have the product. Well, in the roofing business, there's a surplus of shingles out there, and we just need to find roofs to put them on. So there is no twiddling your thumbs working for me. You're going to work your butt off, but they want to.
But so let's go to that. Your expectation as a business owner, what are those to begin with? Like, what is the most important thing day one? Every day starts thinking what?
Every day, I want you to put your boots on. I want you to come to the office if you don't have stuff going on. And I want you to talk about your customers that you have or need looked at, and kind of see what these customers have been asking you, and where are you at in the steps of the process? Do you need a follow up with them? Do you need to get an inspection? Have they not been calling you in the past couple phone calls you've made? Why are they not calling you? Maybe it was bad timing. Making sure that, the communication is never sticking to us, but it's always back to the homeowner, the insurance company. It's never, I don't want anything to be sitting on our table waiting to be sent out. So the expectation is good customer service. Listen to your homeowners. Set that precedent up on the first time you meet the homeowner, so you know how to communicate. What people get with me is, I don't want to say like top tier talent like Sandler training, but I did take Sandler's training, and they taught me a lot of good
the submarine one?
I don't even know which one it is.
I think that's what it is.
But it was very good.
7 pieces to a submarine. Is anyone taking that?
Let's just say this. I've done a couple of trainings. Sandler was one of the best ones I've ever done. And I've taken tidbits out of that. And more, and a lot of it more of like my own experiences too, dealing with customers, homeowners, commercial, business owners, and, sharing that information for every case with my sales team. So, having 25 guys, 10 full-time guys, 15 part-timers who eventually some of them will end up doing this as a full-time career, because you can do this part-time, you can do it full-time. It's just a matter of how you want to go about it. I just want to share as much information as I can to help grow that individual into a better financial future.
When you take somebody on, I know not everybody's this way, but this is how I used to look at it when people wanted to work with me. I want to work with people that eventually they move on in the business or whatever they're going to do and have their own business. I wanted to be able to coach them up. And again, the time I'm doing this, I'm in my 30s or whatever.
Sure.
But I also look at things kind of like recruiting in football. You don't recruit like B level, C level people. It's hard to find A people. But when you get that B person, you think, I'll coach you up and be better. It never works that way. You have to find an A level person and kind of instill in them how this works, and they'll take off. I think if you're in entrepreneurship, you can't have people that they're waiting on you to tell them. And this generation I had somebody that worked for me for 5 years. Anything I asked them to do, they did it. But if I didn't tell them to do something, they just sat and looked at me.
Yeah.
And that would be like for hours, to where I'd be like, you know what? Why don't you go work from home? Because there's nothing that I can instruct you to do. Like, just do something on your own.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay you just not to be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you're dragging me down.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't intentional. It is, but what I see in your team is that they're very active. And I think there's some people in there that think they're going to eventually start their own roofing company. I think it's because they've seen that you've done it.
I don't
mean like they're escaping, but I think they're seeing how you're doing it, and they're going, I could do this.
And that's a awesome question, because that statement there is who doesn't want to like open up their own business once they see someone successful with it. Not everyone should be business owners too.
Right.
Okay. There's a person that's really good at sales, but does not know how to run a business, bad with money, gambling all their money away, drinking it away, finding success and blowing that money. There's still financial responsibilities to your suppliers, to your other partners that are in this thing with it, your taxpayers. There's a lot of things that you need to know in order to be a mature business owner. So I'm going to train everybody up as if they can run their own business. I'm going to treat them with the utmost respect so that they stay within my company. And if not, then I don't deserve you. I don't deserve you part of my business, but I'm going to do everything I can day in and day out to make sure you're there. We're getting coffee, we're getting whatever in the morning, and we're going out there and killing the day. We're going out there and making the most of it, making you a lot of money, making sure all your questions are answered, and you're doing everything that I'm expecting you to do, just as much as all the expectations from me to you. That's your decision if you want to move away with it. But you know what? I'm going to give them a home that's beautiful, that has granite in it, maybe some gold, maybe some
gold teeth,
hot pockets, some beer, water, whatever.
Have granite countertops and hot pockets. That's the American dream.
And ramen noodles. Don't forget about those with some Doritos in them late night. You guys know what I'm talking about. But
and if you don't, try it.
I can't. I wish that everyone that is on my team stays with me and ride this wave that we have, because it's only going up, and making sure that they're part of it, inviting them to do the things that are making this thing magical. We have expos that we do. It's like, hey, I get a lot of people that I'm qualifying. They'll be asking me questions. They're like, hey, but what do you do in the wintertime? What are you doing when it's super cold and it's freezing, January, February? I'm not making any money. Well, we're still getting contracts made. If it's above 40 degrees, we're building roofs. So the past 2 years, we've been building roofs in January and February. Just when it was freezing outside, we didn't. Those roofs are still fine today. There's nothing wrong with these roofs. They're all settled down. So there is, miscommunication out there in the field. They're like, oh, you shouldn't do roofs in the wintertime. Why not? Do your research on your products. At least ours, they're getting nailed down.
Do you know where that comes from? Why they don't do it? Because they don't want to pay anybody during the winter, because it's slower. So that's where that came from, because it's the same thing in advertising. They'll take December, January, February off, and then everybody starts at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So they want to lay these guys off and not pay them benefits and pay them at all.
Yeah.
But Nate and I were just working on, like, we put some videos out just about general business type things. And what I said was, if you've got a business, you should be marketing yourself every single day. And I'm not saying you have to run radio or billboards or whatever, but every single day you got to let somebody know that you're open, because there's momentum there. You can't, again, if we were to have a train running 24 hours a day, or we want to push it and get it started, which one do you want to do year after year after year?
Oh yeah. And that's where we find a lot of our competitive advantage. If there's other contractors listening to me, I'll give you a tidbit. The winter months is my competitive advantage when we're really going in March and April. We've already done probably 100 roofs by then, just because no one wants to work in the cold. They want to be on vacation or wherever, which is great. You work hard, you deserve what you want with it. But when we have a business that runs 361 days out of the year, we have that competitive advantage. And it just keeps the sales guys engaged. Like, I don't want them not doing anything. I want them learning, training. We're doing training courses. We're doing we're going to the manufacturer training facilities. We're doing a lot of different stuff just to be engaged. And a great thing that we just started is these expos. Let me tell you about these expos. There's so many and we're going the ones that are like the boat and RV show, the home and garden shows, getting with the local communities, with the regional chambers events with it. We're not just doing, we're not just door knocking, passing out flyers. We're actively involved in the communities as well. So we're doing the right things. It's not always easy doing the right things, but you know what? I find that it's important to always do the right thing, because at the end of the day, I can sleep well at night.
How do you coach somebody, or maybe you can see this in somebody, that dealing with customers? Like, we always talk about that. Like, our favorite thing is to talk to people. Like, even doing this dumb show, it's fun to talk, right? But can you see a rapport in somebody right away and go, I got to hire that guy? He may know nothing about roofing, but I could teach him that. But this kid, there's something there.
A lot of what we're doing is first impression sales. So it's not even, it's first impression sales. You're dealing with the homeowner from, 4 to 6 weeks, or depending on what exactly the route we're going, if we're going retail or not. But first impression sales is huge in this. Meeting my girlfriend's dad for the first time. I better make sure I get that right, because if not, I'm in trouble. You got to come with everything you got. You better be clean shaven or whatever, just groomed up. Make sure you look good. Have ambitions. If you go into it looking boring, down, like you've been playing Call of Duty all night long.
Shout out to Call of Duty.
Nothing wrong with that, but if you're not ready if you don't have your A game on in the morning every day that you're out there in the field, then shame on you, because that's what it takes to get these jobs done. You got to be personable. You got to be a little bit bubbly in some cases, or chameleonize yourself if it's, someone that's not, they're a Vietnam vet, or someone that just doesn't want to deal with that stuff, Cut to the chase, black and white, get it done and get out. Just know your role. Know how you need to make your sale, make your communication with them. Communication is important. Know how to communicate. Know how to use your tones of voices. All of that stuff is talked about. We're talking high level
just
sales.
Use the phone instead of I'll text you. We over communicate, but not in a way that anyone really gets what we're saying.
Yeah.
So sometimes you and I will text, and it's very brief, because I'll be doing a show like this, have my phone. Yep, got it. Without thinking, he might think I'm just blowing off. Like, yeah, I gotta get away. I think that in a sales related thing, like, I get that sometimes where I'm like, hey, looking for this report. Can I get it? Sure. sure what? Like, are you going to send, you know what I mean?
Gosh, yeah.
I tend to over communicate unless I'm in the middle of something, but then I always follow up and say, hey, sorry, I was doing this, but I'm going to tell you what I was doing. I couldn't fully communicate. I think there's too many people, especially in the trades, that this isn't my job. Like, you probably don't hear that a lot.
Yep.
I hear that a lot in my industry. It'll be, well, I don't do that. Okay. I don't care about that part, but to complete this task, we have to do that. Well, that's not my job.
Yeah.
You hear that a lot in the trades too, is that people will say, you know, whether you're just hauling junk away or whatever you're doing, they'll say, well, we don't do that. That's not our job. Can you recommend a solution? I don't know. You'll never use that person again. And those people that you're sending out are an extension of you.
Yep.
That would make me nervous. Not if I'm you. I'm saying in general. I don't want another person out there speaking for me. But you have to, because to get to all these roofing jobs all over Columbus and Cleveland, you have to trust the person that's going out there, right?
Absolutely.
How do they build that trust with you?
With my guys, it's, you know, every single one of my guys I see or hear from a couple times a week, which as a sales manager, you might talk to them once a week. If you're halfway decent, you know, setting up a block schedule to go over all the stuff with it. But in this business, it's so fast paced. There's so many things that they're touching, they're going over, that I need to talk to them 2 to 3 times a week. And even if they didn't have anything going on, just having that conversation with me about roofing, about siding, about gutters, the business strategies that are going on every single day in my office, just the guys coming over and just talking business. Not even have anything right now, but even like right now, it's slower right now. So I don't have 100 things on my plate. We're just having conversations about how to be better communicators, what's the next steps? Where are we going with our business with it? These guys know exactly where my head's at, and my role and my communication with them, and the expectation of when a customer asks you something with it. If you don't have the answer, you better notify someone within, you know, where to go with that information to get that answer.
But you're telling the guys that.
I am.
But I want to point that out, because if I was a customer that I'm listening to this and I'm saying, do I trust these guys? It's okay if you go, that's what you should be doing. You're instilling this in them. And that's what I'm trying to clarify, is that we're not talking pie in the sky. This is how you train your people.
Yes. So there is so much level to detail that in layers that sometimes I don't even know. You're pointing out stuff that I'm like, yeah, that's just part of my routine. That's just normal, but it may not be normal to everybody.
But it's not. And that's why I'm saying that, you know, I've dealt with, 20 some years, almost 30 years of this, is that I've dealt with people that their thing is it's a sale. It's a transaction. When that transaction's over, we don't care. Those people can be successful for a while, but it doesn't last, because again, you've not built a customer. You sold gum. You didn't get them to come in and buy anything else. They didn't tell anybody else about you.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
And even if we brought my sales guys on this too, and you started asking them about their relationships with their customers with it, you'll be surprised about how many referrals we get from our customers. So, meaning they built relationships with them, friendships, people that, till this day, they still communicate or talk about whatever they had in common, the Browns or the Bengals, whatever it is. But they're asking for, hey, would you be willing to share my information with someone that may be interested in our roof? And they're like, absolutely. Not only that, I'll give you 5 stars on your Google review. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Happily send over that check. And here's a couple more referrals for you to keep growing. And that's who I'm looking for. That's the expectation that I have with my sales team, is like, hey, yeah, I will give you a couple leads here and there with it, but do something with them. Right. It's not a one and done. Build that relationship. You're good enough to do it. You have all the information at your fingertips. I have every piece of this from the manufacturing reps. If you need any literature to give them or any colors that, there's so much information that they have at their fingertips that can give a homeowner a headache because they know where to go. It's just too much stuff. And that you want to have everything in your arsenal. You need a hockey bag filled with all the toys in there to get this job done. Right. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but I love it. It's just part of who I am and what I'm about.
If you had your choice as time goes on, because you had mentioned this, I don't know if we were talking about it on the show or if we were just talking in general, but as time goes on and you get more successful, you kind of can't be with those customers face to face like when you started because you're running the overall. You can talk to them, but you're not physically on the ground all the time. Do you think that's something that like that there's that pull, like I want to take this call myself. I want to do it because that's what's fun.
I think about it all the time, and I'm already seeing, I'm not in the field like I was my first year where I was literally in my car, like one of those memes of like someone driving really fast, like, dude, that's how I was. It was crazy. And now I'm like pulling back and I'm like watching all these young guys absolutely do so well on doing exactly what I did. I'm seeing them and I'm laughing because they're over here like stressed out, taking their hat off. I think they're losing hair. Like I can't believe
you got some young boys and they're going bald real quick.
They're going bald, but
these kids are stressed.
They're stressed.
But I don't think it's you. I think they live stressful lifestyles. Like you said, every time I see these kids, they either have like a Monster Energy drink or a Red Bull. You can tell they're not sleeping, but they show up for work. They do all their stuff. But at some point I'm like, you're going to be fried by 35 years old.
Yeah. If not sooner, especially during the busy season, which is like from April to November. It's a lot. It can be a lot. It's about going to work, putting your shoes on and getting out there. I'm up. I always tell them, look, if you got anything you're stuck on, you need help with a question, get yourself over to my house, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's go over it before phone calls start happening and business meetings start getting taken care of. That way I can fix all those situations for you, or at least give you the advice you need and get out there and be knocking doors or going over inspections or leads by 9:30, 10 a.m. I want you out there. So if you're in my office, you're not making money per se. You got to be out on a nice, beautiful day out there. I expect you to be out there in the world making some deals and sharing information to homeowners across Columbus, Cleveland, depending on where you're at. It doesn't matter. But we are very organized. So the stress of it is because they have 40, 50 jobs lined up. They're getting estimates sent over to customers. They're following up with customers, seeing where it's at, picking up checks, meeting adjusters, writing contracts. One thing that like what makes when I know someone's going to be successful in this business, at least working for me, I see it like this. They have a couple adjuster appointments from insurance claims that they have that week, 2 to 3 of them. They have 2 to 3 contracts to write for the next week to build those out with it. And they have 3 or 4 service agreements that they signed up that week. That is a heck of a week. That's a person that's going to make $250,000 a year, if not more. That's big time. That's big time contracting. It's one of the reasons why we're one of the fastest growing contractors in Ohio. What we came from our first year to where we're at year number 3, our numbers are great. I'm excited about what's happening, and I know we're doing the right thing because we keep on doubling or tripling our business, but we're doing it the right way. Our customers are happy, and there's finally someone out there that actually knows what they're doing. Their guys are trained up, they look professional, and they get the job done quickly. There's no funny business. We're not there to waste your time, I promise you. So please respect ours. We're going to be there and we're going to do the right thing for you. That's why you should choose RCS.
You should do a commercial.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thanks for listening to RCS Radio. We'll see you next week.